This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Welcome into Jets at Noon. Tyson Rewucki here with Jim Toth. Cam Poitras is off this week and next.
Free for all Friday.
Let's go, baby. Free for all Friday.
Cam and I have been doing the listeners a disservice. We've been going free for all Friday. Let's take your call. This is a traumatic time. It's free for all Friday.
Absolutely. And whatever you need to get off your chest right now.
Where's Cam for another week?
Hey, he's needed to take this break just because of the recent losses that have been coming forward here. So
has somebody checked the drunk tank? I mean, I thought they let you out after 24 hours. Do you have to be like somebody has to be responsible for you?
Well, you can make multiple. There's no limit on how many times you can go in there.
How do you know?
Let's just move on.
It's free for all. It's the freest of free for alls today, obviously.
We're coming to you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Saucy savings on pasta every day in January from only $11.99. And this hour is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road at washmethod.com. We'll give a VIP text away, and we'll also give a VIP call away, a $50 gift card to Boston Pizza there. We'll head to the phone line shortly. But, Jim, what did you make of last night's loss against the Florida Panthers? It was a little bit of a boring game through the first two periods.
So a friend of mine put up a thing. What do you kids call them, memes or something? And it's two pictures from The Sopranos. And that episode where Christopher Moltisanti, he's in his apartment and he's looking up at Paulie Walnuts, my favorite character in The Sopranos.
Of course.
And he said, you ever get the feeling that nothing good is ever going to happen to you? And Paulie's answer was, yes, and nothing did. So what? That's how I feel about last night's game. Nothing good is going to happen to this team this year. And so what?
And honestly, maybe that's the best thing for this team moving forward.
So you have a young man with his whole life ahead of him feeling like nothing good's ever going to happen. And you got an old man who's lived a lot of life who said, yeah, nothing did good happen. So what? No, honestly, like it was a great breakdown on the 680 CJOB postgame show. So I think two things. That was the most boring game in a long time.
Yeah, first two periods at least.
But it was such a good game. And bear with me, I'm older. That reminds me of a time before the shootout. That reminds me of how hockey was played. And I know it was an exciting game because there was only, 2 goals scored. But the back and forth, the defensive hockey, the not a lot of shots, that's skill, like that's tactic, right? And I thought it was two good teams going at it that didn't want to give anything up and played kind of like a playoff game with a low-scoring one. But I remember those games in the 90s, and I remember going to an Oilers-Ducks game, and it ended 2-1, and the Ducks, it was 1-0 for the whole game, and then the Ducks scored 2 goals in the last 3 minutes and won 2-1. And this is the Korea, the Teemu Selanne Ducks, and the Oilers had like Jason Arnott and Doug Waite and these guys. And it just, like, for $300 at the time, it was, like, so boring and unexciting. And the shots in that game after a 2-1 victory were 18-17. And that was the year, that summer, they brought in the shootout. And a lot of traditionalists were like, this is asinine, it's a skills shooting competition. But I thought, I would have felt like I got my money's worth if Solani and Korea and Waite and those guys did a shootout after it. It'd be more exciting. I'd get out of my seat. So early on, when everybody didn't like the shootout, I liked it in the regular season because that's last night's hockey was the kind of hockey you watch.
Absolutely. And you do mention, I'm glad you mentioned
So picture that game without the 3-on-3 overtime.
Oh, right. That's brutal.
And so, like, it wasn't fan friendly. It wasn't. But that being said, I thought it was a competitive strategic competitive hockey game
for sure. And
it just wasn't exciting.
And that's one thing. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's one thing if you're having those kind of games and you're winning. If you're losing and it keeps dragging on, it's going to be tough to keep that up and to get the attendances that they got last game. But
that's the reason the shootout came in is because crowds weren't going to watch games end 2-1 and shots being 19-15
for sure. We'll head to the phone lines right now. And Bob joins us right now. Bob, thanks for calling in. What you got for us today?
Friday, Bob.
Free for all! Jim, you stole my thunder.
Uh-oh.
I called in. I said, I want to talk about NHL overtime. So I agree with everything you just said. But here's the thing. I don't like the 3-on-3 anymore. It has become a possession game in overtime now. You can have teams that have possession of the puck for 2-3 minutes at a time. They go back out of the zone, they come back in. Remember when it came in, how exciting it was, and then the All-Star format, they played a 3-on-3 tournament. It was so exciting, but now it's become too much of a strategic thing in overtime.
And Bob,
I'm not liking it, guys.
Bob, I don't disagree with you at all there, but what would you do instead?
Well, there's a couple things. If you go into the zone, if you go into the offensive zone and you have possession of the puck, if you bring it back out on purpose, and maybe it doesn't have to be the blue line, but maybe you limit it back to the red line, and then if you're in control of the puck and you come back out over the red line, the whistle blows. I don't know. Something has to change.
You know what? I've heard that before, and I don't hate it. If you gain the offensive zone and you yourself take it out, it's a face-off in the other end, your end.
I don't hate it either, but the one thing that's going to happen is it's going to happen to whatever team you're cheering for, and immediately it's going to be, this is the dumbest rule of all time. Like a guy absolutely accidentally fumbles it past the red line, and then it's a power play, and then the other team scores off that. It's tough. It's kind of a lose. Like, you're never going to have perfection.
And to be honest with you, somebody will figure that out and come up with a way to. But I agree with Bob. I think it would present more shots, more offense, more attempts as opposed to the. So it's funny, the evolution of this, right? Because the first time it came out, it was all go all the time. It was end-end, and usually games ended within 30 seconds. And then,
that's my point.
And then after that, it became a defensive thing and then now it's this possession thing. I don't disagree with you, Bob, but I also think it's kind of, I still like it. Like, it's still exciting. Yeah. It's still exciting, but it become a possession game. You're right.
Thanks for the call, Bob. Really appreciate it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Bob. And the one thing too is I do wonder if maybe this condensed schedule as well is kind of making teams rethink their strategies in overtime.
Well, I've been texting with a friend all morning who wasn't happy with Mark Scheifele's overtime and his lack of defensive. And I'm like, I'm not. This is a longer story than we have time for, but it's not a story. I mean, a theory. You can't judge Connor, Scheifele, Morrissey anymore about how they play anymore for anything, I don't think, because they're exhausted. This is a team that does not score. It's all on its core, and they've played and played and played. I think Morrissey was over 26 minutes. He's averaging a career high. I saw what my friend was saying on his defensive coverage in 3-on-3. I can't imagine how exhausted Mark is.
Well, and you don't know what they're saying on the ice, because on the ice there's constant communication, there's constant rotations on 3-on-3. You don't know who missed a rotation where, or if one guy's, you know what I mean? Like, we're not playing.
And how much he played in the third of a 1-1 game going into overtime, like how many shifts he had, what was his ice time the last 9 minutes of the third period. I'm not defending poor defensive play, but Mark and Kyle Connor have come miles the last 2+ seasons with their defensive play and coverage. It still gets away from them once in a while. But in 3-on-3 overtime, when it's a possession game and they're out there for that long and they're trying to win a game and they're desperate for the points, and then how much they've played this season, I don't doubt. I think right now, today, those 3 or 4 guys are exhausted.
And look at every team too. Like the Matthews and the Davids, like they're all going to be. They all have stints like that.
These are guys on a team that it's all them or nothing. And so when you get into a third period and you're tied or you need a goal, who's playing?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We'll head back to the phone line and let's bring in Steve. Steve, thanks for calling in. What you got for us today?
Yeah, hi guys. I just about a month ago I saw a stat that said the Jets in 1-goal games last year they were 18, 4-5 or 5-4, something like that. And this year, I guess up to that point, they were like 4, 8, and 5 or whatever. I don't know if you could find that stat for this year and last year.
You're pretty bang on. It was, I think, last year. Not only that, Steve, but there's a stat of them last year going into the third with the lead. They were 40-0-2 or something.
Really?
Like they never lost in regulation. I think maybe once all season when they had the lead going into the third.
But just to jump in here, Steve. Sorry, but that's what separates a good and bad team. You know, good teams win the 1-goal games and bad teams lose the 1-goal games.
But isn't that the most... Scott O'Neill said this. I got to reteach that. And that stood out to me a month and a half ago. For a team that was so good and is a veteran team, age-wise and experience-wise, that might be the sharpest drop-off. Not the secondary scoring, not the special teams, which has dropped off. The secondary scoring has dropped off. The most telling stat might be for an experienced team like this to be that fragile with the lead or one-goal games is shocking to me compared to how good they were at it last year.
Absolutely.
Well, you look at it too. Like one-goal game is like a missed assignment. The guy didn't back check hard enough. Kind of coasted in, or a block shot that didn't kind of put his whole effort into it, or a lift stick. I mean, those are one-goal games. Last year it was all there. The effort and everything. I'm not saying the effort isn't there this year, but And then the other question I'd have, if you could find that this year's stat compared to last year's, that would be great. But the overtime too, what their overtime records are this year to last year.
Oh, well, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Wouldn't be able to.
If you got time to look it up before the end of the show or whatever, that'd be great.
Will do. Thanks for the call, Steve. Really appreciate it.
The stats I have is from about 2 weeks ago, but you're not. They're 4-18 and 2 or something this year, and last year they were 18-2 and 4. So it's like a 180.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have the specific numbers, but it's like a 180.
Absolutely. We'll head back to the phone line here, and let's go with Jim. Jim, how's it going today? Thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Oh, the way to get rid of the teams that are playing for the overtime and the boring overtime itself is to have the first team that scores in the event of a final tie wins the game. Example, Jim, your team scores first. My team is going to bust a little behind trying to catch up. And in the event they do and it finishes 3-3, your team will get the win for the first goal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like
I hate that about the NFL and their overtime. I hate it about the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't. So much can happen in a game, and it wouldn't be fair if a team scores the first goal and then goes into a shell, and then they're okay with just getting the tie. I think that could result in even more boring regulation time games.
I think you can fix, Jim. I think you can fix the overtime by Bob's recommendation that once you gain the offensive zone, you cannot take it out yourself.
How about this? Because we've gotten a lot of texts on this. What about a shot clock?
I don't like the offensive zone. I don't like that. Because then you're just throwing it at the net. You might as well just give over possession.
Yeah, that's fair. There's really no good way to fix 3-on-3 at this point.
I do like the idea of if you gain the offensive zone, you cannot bring it out yourself, or it's a face-off in your end.
Yeah, that could work. Well, thanks for that, Jim. Really appreciate the call. Yeah. We got a couple more that we have to get to here and want to squeeze in everyone as much as possible.
Appreciate it, Jim. Free for all.
Let's bring it on Steve D. Steve, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
Listen, let's just expand on this 3-on-3 thing here just one little bit. I like the idea of you can't come out of you can't come back into your zone. So if you cross red line, I like the idea of the face-off going back in your end. Add one little extra on that, and you can't change lines, just like an icing.
Yeah,
so you can't change personnel.
That's what I mean. Like if they bring it in the zone and then you take it out, if somebody hits your stick at the blue line and comes out, fair game. But if you take it out, it's like an icing. It's a face-off in your end, and you have to stay out there, and the other team can change.
Exactly. Now the possession part. The possession part is it's actually interesting because they cycle a puck. There's lots of movement, but if they don't like what they're seeing, they just come out and they come back into their own end. Get rid of that, and if you like you guys were saying, if you do that, face off goes in your end, then you can't change. Now all of a sudden. Now once you start going forward, you got to keep pressing.
Yeah, no, you got to keep the speed in overtime going. Thanks for the call, Steve. Really appreciate it. We'll squeeze in George here. George, thanks for calling in. What you got for us today?
What's up, boys?
Not too bad.
George,
how's your Friday going?
How's it going? Listen, I got two things I want to point out. Kyle Connor had spoken last time after the last back-to-back, and they asked him if he was ever tired from the day before the game and traveling back and doing whatever. And he says, no, that kind of stuff doesn't bother him. So as far as him being tired playing the games, I don't think he feels it or feels the effect of it. He is a cyclist, and he does cycle a lot of miles from what I understand. But as far as the other players on the team, they probably experience it because they're probably not as
But I'm talking about in game. I'm talking about like if you're at 26 minutes and on a 3-on-3 overtime and you're caught out for a minute 12.
Right.
In game, like in 3-on-3 overtime, if you're out there for more than 30 seconds, you're gonna get. After playing a whole game, you're going to get beat.
Happens all the time. Like almost at this point, almost 80. This is just off the top of my head, but 80% of overtime goals seem like it comes when one line is completely gassed. Really appreciate the call, George. We are going to have to take a break though, right here.
Thanks, George.
Stay on. If you're on the line, stay on the line. 204-780.
George is a big fan of Lake of the Woods. Enjoy, George.
Oh, great brewery, by the way. If they want to slide a couple forgotten ales my way, I wouldn't say no. We'll take a quick break.
An ask has been put out on Jets at noon.
We'll see.
What is going on this Free for All Friday? You're wild today.
Hey,
and put your shirt on. It's unnecessary to sit here with your tarp off.
Hey, it's hot in here. With all the takes that are coming in.
Hot takes.
We'll be right back with more Free for All Friday right after this commercial break. Welcome into Jets at Noon. Tyson Rewucki in for Cam Poitras with Jim Toth, coming to you live from the Boston Pizza Studio, where it's Pasta Tuesday every day this January from only $11.99. Hungry for saucy savings? Hungry for BP? And this hour is also brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road, and at washmethod.com. Jim, we might do the winning text a little bit early because we had a great idea for overtime. And I'm looking forward to the team.
So we usually do phone calls on Fridays, but today we got such a good text. We're going to go back to the old school Monday to Thursday text winner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's go to the phone line, though, because we got Gary and Francis, who are both been waiting very patiently. Let's start off with Francis here. Francis, thanks so much for calling. Thanks for waiting. What do you got for us today?
Hi. I just want to comment on the overtime. I don't really know what everyone's complaining about, like all these ideas of how they should make overtime and the shot clock and all that. Like that will make overtime only more boring. What the NHL should do is they should say if you go to overtime, whatever team loses, even if you go to overtime, you don't get a point. That would fix a lot of it, because at the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of the game, they'll play a whole different style of hockey. They don't play desperate when they're tied. They just play like they want to get at least 1 point. And then overtime, they play a lot more desperate too, because they would either get 2 points or no points.
I mean, that's a great point, Francis. It's kind of crazy that at this point they haven't gone to the 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for overtime.
A little bit. If you get a point in a regular season, maybe it should be in the playoffs, a point system for teams. If you go to overtime, you get a point, and whoever ends the series with the most points, or they could keep going to games, whoever has the most points at the end of it.
This year,
that'll be dumb. That'll be dumb. But if a little bit in the regular season you get a point for going to overtime, why shouldn't it help out in the playoffs? In my opinion, it should be no point for overtime. That would fix all the problems.
Thanks for the call, Francis. Really appreciate it. And I'm with
you don't want a point for overtime?
I think that you shouldn't. I just think that regulation wins should matter way, way more. And especially after what we're seeing this year, where teams are just playing for overtime, you need to just make a regulation win actually more, tempting for a team. Because really, what's the point?
Yeah, I like the incentive of you get a point to go to overtime and the extra incentive to get the extra point. I like that. What you're talking about is a 3-point system like English Premier Soccer, and they'll never do that. 3 points for regulation. There's a lot of people who want 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for an overtime win, and 1 point
I'm totally on board with that, but you want to know why they'll never do it, Jim? Because it ruins the parity in the league.
The parity in the league and the false hope, right?
Yep.
Because in February, if you're 7 points back, you could legitimately be 14 or 15 points back, and then hope is gone for the next 2 months for your team.
Yeah, let's head to Gary now. Gary from Vancouver. Gary, how's it going? How's Vancouver going? Is it as cold over there as it is here?
Oh man, it's freezing here. It's 1 degree. I don't know how I'm going to survive.
Gary, get him off the line now. Get him off.
Gear, right?
I'm just kidding, Gary.
Can we send him some parkas?
You know what? Yeah, right. Yeah, we have actually beautiful Winnipeg weather here. It's clear and sunny. It is 1 degree. It's nice. I know we do have the damper cold here, but nothing what you guys have. I feel for you. My wife Tasha is from Winnipeg, born and raised. I was born and raised Vancouver, but she's made me, and you guys all have made me fall in love with your place there. Winnipeg is beautiful.
Awesome.
People are amazing.
So Tasha probably wants to go tanning right now out there.
Yeah, she probably is.
Swim. Let's go for a swim. It's only 1 below.
We have a cabin up in the interior, and it's glacier fed. And May the ice comes off, and she was jumping in there May long weekend.
Oh, Gary, this sounds like a place we should do a week's
jealous.
Gary, this sounds like a place we should do a week's worth of Jets at Noon from.
You know what? Come on over.
Come on down.
What did you got for us, Gary?
Let's do it. Just hearing that last comment, I do agree. I would be good with the 3 points for a win in regulation and then the 2-1 or 1 for an overtime win. My main thing I was going to say, though, is for the overtime, why not go for the first, pick whatever time they want to do it, like a 5-minute, 7-minute first period overtime of 5-on-5, and then do a 4-on-4, and then leave it to a 3-on-3. And then just keep going until somebody wins, because part of the best team in the game should be with fitness as well. I know the guys are going to be burnt out and tired, but that shows like a team that's really ready to play a season and to get the win and push even more to get it. There's no easy solution.
The flip side of this argument of having too much distance halfway through the season between a lot of the teams is if you're in the Jets' position and could pile up some 3-point wins over the next month and a half, you'd probably be going for it a lot harder the last 5 minutes of games.
Yeah, exactly. And you want more exciting finishes to games. Thanks a lot, Gary. Really appreciate it. But
if you push harder in 6 of the next 7 games in the last 4 minutes and end up losing because you took too many chances, you literally are out of it by 20 points in 6 games.
Games matter. What a shocking...
But the argument is games matter to a point, and then they don't matter for you anymore, and there's 2.5 months left in the season.
Figure it out. It's pretty...
Today we're thinking about it.
We got Cam on the line.
Cam.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Cam?
Not bad. I like the idea of not having the crossover, or the crossover over the center line by yourself. I like the idea of the shot clock. Here's what you do. If you don't take your shot within the 30 seconds, whistle blows, there's no face-off, attacking team leaves the zone, goes to center ice. The defending team now becomes the attacking team, gets the puck exactly where the puck stopped, and goes the other way.
The one problem I have with the shot clock, too, as well, is that what qualifies as a shot? Does it have to be on net? Because if I take a shot from the slot and I miss the net and then the shot clock goes off, that's kind of garbage.
Yeah, or it gets deflected.
Right, like
somebody. How many block shots are you going to see?
And then a guy could also just dump the puck into the corner to himself and saying, "Oh, I was trying to get it on net," and then the shot clock restarts.
Up to the officials to decide whether or not it's a shot on net or not.
Right.
And
I mean, there's a lot. It would just end up being a lot of discretion.
If the defending team dumps the puck out of the zone, that resets the shot clock. If the attacking team leaves the zone but doesn't go cross center, clock stops, but then resets to where it was after you left the zone.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. We talk about a shot clock, and coaches and teams will figure out a way, just like in basketball, they defend it, and it'll become something that's more boring. And
yeah.
All I think about when shot clock is, I think of schemes that coaches are going to come up with to make sure that this doesn't happen.
You got 3 guys on the ice. You shouldn't have that hard time getting a shot on net.
And I'll be honest with you too, though. I think the quality shots are going to go way down. It becomes a thing of what you just said, Tyson, is just about get that puck on net fast.
Yeah.
And then try to create something with time and something with some passing you're not going to do. You're going to be like, okay, well, I got to go here.
Yeah, it just gets complicated. Thanks for the call, Cam. Really appreciate it. Let's go to Burton. Burton, thanks for the call. What do you have for us today?
Well, I was thinking for overtime. This is going to be so exciting for everybody. 3 pucks and everybody on the ice.
Hey, free for all? I don't mind.
That sounds like a battle royale.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be just like...
Is it Royale or Royal?
Royale. The Royal Rumble?
The Royal Rumble, yeah. It's a free-for-all.
Thanks, Burton.
3 pucks and everybody on the ice.
That's awesome.
All of a sudden, Dustin Bufflin unretires and comes back to the game just for overtime.
Great. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Thanks for the call, guys. Burton. Really appreciate it. That's hilarious. Let's go to Reg. Reg, what do you got for us today?
Hey, guys. So I phoned in about this a little bit off the overtime thing, but I phoned in a couple of weeks ago, and my comment was, the Winnipeg Jets, how do they get out of the rut? And I said, aggressive forecheck, use your skating. Jets have always been identified as a fast skating team. They got away from that, got in the rut. So that was my comment 3 weeks ago. They've improved a bit on that, but still need improvement on the aggressive forecheck. The other comment I would make is this. I noticed that when we go into the overtime, it's kind of predictable. Who's the first guys out on the overtime reg for Winnipeg Jets? It's Mark Scheifele, it's Connor, and it's Morrissey.
No. It's a lot of the times it's Lowry and.
Listen to my comments first, okay? So that's the first guys out on the overtime normally, okay? So here's the scenario. So we have Jonathan Toews. I'm a fan of Jonathan Toews. I don't know if you've noticed, Jonathan Toews is probably the last month or so, with Velarde up with him on the second line, has improved immensely. In fact, very cagey veteran, made a very good play to Perfetti last night to get that tying goal. And then he set up Morrissey, who hit the crossbar, right? And the interesting thing about the overtime is I did see Jonathan Toews out there for a little bit of time on the overtime. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the Morrissey off the crossbar scenario. But Mr. Toews was not in the shootout. I thought that was maybe a mistake because the guy is very talented. Stanley Cups Olympian, and he's got his mojo back after 2 years off. So those are my comments, fellas. I've played a little bit of competitive hockey, so I just wanted to throw that in there because that's what I think. If the Jets continue to do the aggressive forecheck, we don't get to overtime. Why? Because we win the games.
Thanks for that, Reg. Really appreciate it. And you're right about the forecheck for sure. I mean,
that's the key to the system.
To be good, they do need to have a good forecheck. And do they have the speed to do that?
And the F3 forward is key to that too. You're right. The forecheck is a system in that. But I'll say this: the reason those guys are mostly over, and if it's not a defensive one with Lowry starting overtime, and I like Jonathan Toews' game. I like the way he's coming around. He's really smart. He got a shift in overtime or two. I like that. But he has 7 goals this year. And Scheifele and Connor have it in the 20s.
Well, and if
I think even Jonathan Toews was coaching this team, he would put those guys out ahead of himself.
And you mentioned, Reg mentioned that they hit the crossbar, right?
It's like
sometimes the pucks just don't bounce your way. Want to squeeze in a couple more here before we have to take a break. Let's go to Phil. Phil, how's it going today?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Phil?
Yeah, I don't want to see the parity in the league to be too affected by throwing in that 3 points for a win. But if you want to eliminate the shootout, I would propose that if you win in overtime on the 3-on-3, you get your 2 points. The other team gets their loser point. But I propose that if you want to have a more exciting 3-on-3, that if it goes into a shootout, the winning team gets 1 point and the losing team gets no points.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I just don't.
I think we're overthinking this. I admit it's become a possession thing, but eventually you have to do something. Like even when they back out of the zone and then dial it up again, they got to go back in and they got to try something. If they don't occur the second time, they come out again. The new players come on. It's not like it's 3 going on and on and on, but it's just a possession game, and sometimes it's more than 30 seconds of possession. I don't think it needs to reinvent the wheel.
Thanks for the call, Phil. We do have to take a break, unfortunately, here. But when we come back, we'll have a little bit more. And there's some good suggestions here. I just want to read this one quickly from the guy that makes the station run here, Mike. He says, get rid of offside in overtime. You'll see the setup develop quicker. I can get down with that. I kind of like that. It would be interesting. Teams would have to rethink their defensive strategies. Coming to you live from the Boston Pizza Studio, where it's Pasta Tuesday every day this January from only $11.99. Hungry for saucy savings, hungry for BP. When we come back, we'll read the VIP text and the VIP hotline call. Next, here on 680 CJOB.
Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hey, Jim and Cam. Justin here, 204-292-787. Take. I don't know if Nino was a star tonight, but he should have been. He definitely saved a goal that was creeping in behind Comrie. So that's my hot take. Have a good one, boys. Cheers.
Congrats, Justin. You won $50
gift certificate to Boston Pizza.
5-0.
Get you out of a lot of jam.
Congrats, Justin. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
But We also have a VIP.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for all the calls.
We have a VIP text to give away thanks to our friends at Wash Method. And Jim, this is the best idea for overtime. Wacky idea. Home team decides to play with a power play or penalty kill first. They have 2 minutes to score. If the power play scores, they win. If the penalty kill kills the penalty or scores a shorthanded goal, they win. A penalty from the defensive team restarts the 2 minutes. A penalty from the offensive team, they now become the defenders, and the other team has a chance to score for 2 minutes. It's kind of like college football overtime.
I like
rules.
it and I don't, but hear what I'll say. I like it. Let's do it. Let's do it after the 3-on-3.
Yeah.
So you play 5 minutes of 3-on-3, and then you have a 2 minute either power play or penalty kill before the shootout.
Coming to you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. That is a great idea.
You know, we're fixing things here today.
Absolutely.
I'm not a handy guy, and yet we fix so many things.
Boston Pizza, where it's Pasta Tuesday every day this January from only $11.99. Hungry for saucy savings, hungry for BP. Let's head to the phone line. And Jeff, really quickly here, because we only have about a minute. What's your call here for today?
You guys always put me on the clock. You know what? All these ideas about fixing something that is so uncomplicated to begin with. Let everybody stand at a line and shoot a round, bouncy ball at a hoop, and whoever gets the most wins the overtime. Or they can just, because you're getting further and further away from what hockey actually is with all these dumb ideas. Or what you can do is simply remove the loser point. A caller said that a few calls back. Makes perfect sense. They only did that many years ago because everybody got a point for a tie. That was two generations ago. So get rid of the loser point and let's stick to hockey.
Well, then just keep playing periods till someone scores that at that point, right? Like
you're back to the endless overtime.
Thanks for the call, though.
Thanks
Jeff.
for the call,
really
Jeff.
appreciate it. Mark, really quick here. What you got for us today?
Okay, so let's just change the whole game. First period, 5-on-5 for 25 minutes. Second period, 4-on-4 for 25 minutes. Third period, 3-on-3 for 10 minutes.
But the whole game doesn't need fixing.
Yeah.
The excitement of the 4-on-4 and the 3-on-3 is fantastic. That boring 2 first periods of defensive hockey last night was a snooze fest.
Well, I didn't mind it. It's old school, good defending hockey. Yeah. It's kind of like two defenses in the NFL going at it.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for all the calls. Appreciate it. Hey, we thought about all of them.
Yeah,
no dumb ideas today. It's really a free-for-all.
Really quickly, Jim, first. Jets at Noon is brought to you by Boston Pizza.
Yes, it is.
Saucy savings on pasta every day in January from only $11.99. You had an interesting idea about a particular Vancouver Canucks center.
Elias
Mention
Pettersson.
it quick.
Go get him. Send a first-round pick next year. Send Logan Stanley and a new contract. Cole Perfetti or Brad Lambert and a center from the farm like Corey Barlow.
You win the lottery, and then you have a second line of
and you
Elias
have them.
Pettersson.
You have them eat $2+ million, so it's a $9 million deal for the next 6 years.
And you might even not have to pay that much if you don't retain anything, but that about does it for us today.
And you make him your 4th line center, and then no, I'm just kidding.
That is Jim Toth. Thank you for everyone for calling in. We appreciate all the calls and text.
Great
Cam
song.
Poitras is off next week. Braden Owaska will be in next week. Had a lot of fun this week, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You were really good this week.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take you to Boston Pizza, and then I'm gonna get you to Wash Method, but not with me. Somebody romantic. Think of somebody.
We'll pick someone up at BP. Thanks for.
Wow,
Jim will take it all the way to 2 o'clock
today. Nothing but free for all.
Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back same time next week. See ya. Thank you, Jeffy Fortune.